Homecoming is dog.
So, as a certified Spider-Man Homecoming defender, let's see what Supes has to say about Spider-Man Homecoming.
But look, here's why Homecoming
out of your mind.
is doesn't compare to the Tobey movies, because the entire foundation of the character of Spider-Man is what he goes through, yet he still decides to be a hero.
I'm confused. Didn't that happen multiple times during the movie, where Peter had multiple chances to do normal teenager stuff, but still decided to be Spider-Man in those moments? There were a lot of moments that were like this. So if you watch the movie, you know.
No matter the consequence he faces. In Homecoming,
He does that.
No, he doesn't.
he doesn't suffer one consequence in Homecoming besides losing his suit, and that's not even a consequence.
No, and
I get some points here, but still, he does suffer consequences. Not big ones yet, but he does suffer consequences. So let's see. Imagine, you're basically a small superhero in New York, and this rich guy who's Iron Man comes in to recruit you, takes you in, basically talks about you and gives you gifts and stuff like that as if you were his own kid, and then all of a sudden he gets mad and takes those things away from you. That's what happened in Spider-Man Homecoming. That's a consequence. At the homecoming dance, he's threatened by Liz's dad, who finds out he is Spider-Man in a car ride, and he's about to go into Homecoming, and then he decides to leave to stop Vulture. That's also a consequence. His social life is getting destroyed because he wants to be Spider-Man and prefers doing that over being a normal teenager.
no, and he can't go to homecoming. He constantly wants to be doing something in his regular life, and it's constantly taking away from him.
Thank you, Hat Guy. Hat Guy also has some pretty dog shit opinions sometimes, but this one I can agree with.
He wants to be a hero in the movie, bro. He's literally looking in school. Peter Parker, the kid who loves school, is in school, looking at the clock, waiting to get out of school to go be a hero.
Spider-Man.
Now, there's a points into this, but as a teenager, if you have something better to do in your life over school that you at least find better, it's obvious that you were seeing the time to see when it runs out, and then when you can do that stuff. That's normal teenager stuff. And as I've said before, he wants to be Spider-Man, but he also wants to have a regular life. So he's constantly juggling between the two, and he ultimately decides to be Spider-Man because that's what the city needs and that's what he wants to do. But I guess he'd prefer to have more of a social life, but Spider-Man is what he needs to be in those moments.
He's constantly texting Happy. He's constantly trying to get Tony to come.
His attention.
Yep, get his attention.
These texting Happy thing makes sense in the context of the movie. Imagine, he goes to Civil War, he goes to Germany to fight everyone, and then he's told that he can basically help the Avengers or have the missions commissioned by Tony Stark for him to do, and that never happens. It's obvious that he will be texting Happy and Tony to try to get their attention to see when he will get missions to do. I feel like this guy didn't even watch the movie. If you watch the movie, these things would make sense to you.
Tony saves him multiple times in that movie.
Spider-Man doesn't do anything impressive in that movie except be saved by Iron Man.
Yes, he does get saved by Iron Man. But think about the context of the situations. First scene where Iron Man saves him when he's chasing the criminals at night, the Thinker and the van, etc. And then Vulture comes out of nowhere and brings them to the sky and drops them from the sky. What else was Spider-Man supposed to do in that situation? Tell me. What else was he supposed to do in that situation? He was falling from the sky, his parachute failed, and if he fell to the water like that, he probably could have died, but looks he's superhuman. And he probably would have drowned because the parachute was all over him. Of course, he would need someone to save him, and of course, that would be Iron Man. Spider-Man tried his best to stop the Vulture. He made an accident and accidentally tore the boat in half. He tried his best to secure the boat to prevent it from dividing in half, but he couldn't, so Iron Man came to his rescue. And the thing where Spider-Man doesn't do anything impressive is stupid. There was a whole scene dedicated to Spider-Man confronting the Vulture and the Vulture dropping a whole building on top of him. And he managed to lift that up on his own without any help. So that just shows how impressive he is and how strong he is. So Supes is wrong in this.
Action? Terrible.
The action is also not terrible. Sure, there weren't a lot of action scenes, but the ones that were there were good. I still think about the final scene against the Vulture in the airplane and stuff. That scene is very, very good. It's just one of the consequences that they were talking about that didn't happen in Spider-Man Homecoming, which was the suit being taken away. This movie started the foundation of what would be the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home, with Spider-Man being his own hero. They're talking about Peter Parker as basically if he was Iron Boy Jr. But the whole first movie in this trilogy was about him learning that he doesn't need Tony Stark or anyone else to be Spider-Man in his life. He doesn't need the ultra technological suit. He doesn't need Tony Stark always watching him behind his back. He doesn't need anything of that. He just needs to be himself and do what he's supposed to do. That's Spider-Man. So Supes and Andrew from the Escape Podcast are wrong in this opinion. So yeah. Follow for more Marvel and Spider-Man Homecoming defending.